John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, John Ulzheimer here in Atlanta morning traffic. Seem to be spending a lot of time in Atlanta morning traffic these days. So today we're going to talk about, there's a kind of a half-truth, half-myth that floats around in the credit blogosphere, if you will, and that has to do with the influence of consumer disputes and investigations on credit scores. So obviously a consumer has the right to see what's on their credit report. They have a right to challenge information with which they disagree. And if they do challenge that information, like for example, if you have a collection or a charged off credit card account, if you challenge that it's not yours or that the status is wrong, you certainly have the ability to do so. And the credit reporting agencies have to perform an investigation and correct it if it's wrong or delete it if it's wrong. What occurs when you file a dispute with a credit bureau is the credit bureau notates the account as being in dispute. There is a specific code that is used, and not to get all, jargony on you, it's called a compliance condition code, and it's represented by the letters XB. So X like X-ray, B like boy. So the XB code that is applied to an account that is currently being investigated, that code, if you were to look at a credit report, it actually reads Consumer Disputes Reinvestigation in Progress. That is meant to indicate that there is an active investigation going on with respect to the validity or verifiability of that particular account. So here's the issue. When that XB code is associated with an account, credit scoring systems like FICO are going to treat it differently. So what you're probably going to find online, if you do any research about this, is you're going to find a lot of blogs and articles that suggest that FICO's credit scores ignore items that are actively being investigated. That's not true. It's kind of true. So that's what we were talking about, how to half myth earlier. They're not entirely ignored. Only certain aspects of the account are ignored. So any of the attributes of the account that would be considered by the payment history metrics in a credit score or the debt related metrics in a credit score, those would exclude a trade line. But the fact that you have the account, the age of the account, those types of attributes are not ignored. So it would be improper to suggest to you that when an account is actively being investigated, that it has no influence on a credit score. The more proper way to say it would be that when an account is actively investigated, it's unlikely that that account will hurt your credit score because payment history and debt metrics are being ignored. Those are the metrics that have the ability to lower your scores. But the fact that you have the account and the age of the account, those are absolutely still being considered. And so those are the types of metrics that can help your score. And look, the theory behind this is if an account is actively being investigated, then there's a possibility that it's wrong, right? Because why else would a consumer challenge something? Either it's negative, they don't want it on their credit report, or they honestly feel that it's wrong. So what the credit scoring system doesn't want to do is it doesn't want to inadvertently penalize a consumer based on information on their credit reports. It may not be accurate. So as XB code allows the credit score to do is basically kind of sit on the sidelines and kind of say, hey, look, I'll let y'all figure out if this information is correct or incorrect. Once the investigation is done, then I'll come back in and I will consider the account fully. And so while that XB code is associated with some sort of an entry, that's when the credit score system kind of takes a seat on the sideline. When that code is removed, then it's fair game, because the theory there is that once the XB code has been removed, the item has been verified, and then whatever is on the credit report is likely accurate. And so the credit scoring system has no problem at that point considering it fully, and if it has a positive influence or a negative influence on the consumer score, then that is the intended byproduct of considering that particular item at that time. So if you have any other questions about the investigation process and in dispute codes, then please drop them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. We'll talk again soon. Have a great day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.